Hello, how are you now? It's Nezo, back with another unboxing. As you can see, 3Racing and the letters MR. This is the Sakura D5-MR, the midship, aka mid-motor version. Mid-motored rear-wheel drive, yes. And this particular one with the blue box, this is the all-plastic version. If you've been following my channel, you will know that I have already unboxed and done some driving test videos with the middle-of-the-road version of this MR version, which is they call it the GA, meaning it's carbon chassis plates and shock tower and a couple other pieces. And they made their own version of that with gold and carbon color. So I already have one of those, but this one is the all plastic version. This particular kit that's here in the video, this is not mine. This is on loan to me from my good buddy Kurt, who lent me the kit. It's brand new. He got it on pre-order, and he just hasn't put it together yet. And then he mentioned he had one when he saw my green one, and I let him drive it, and he loves it. And he was like, "Oh, I gotta get my plastic one going." I said, "Hey, can I borrow it so I can make some videos?" Or he said, "Sure." So big shout out to Kurt. And yeah, the seal's still cracked, so it's box fresh. And so we're gonna go through this so you can see what you get in the box. There's not too much writing on the box, but there is a couple things. So there, compared to the other video I did, there was like next to no writing on the box except for D5-GR, MA, whatever, MRGA, blah blah blah. However, this one has a little bit of writing on it, and you can see some of the features here, the differences between the RR and the MR. And I actually have a brand new RR I finished building the other day, which I will float into the video here at the end, so I can just kind of point out differences really quickly. Later I'll do a full comparison, side by side, driving, all that stuff, out of box spec. Quickly going over this. So, features. Upper mid motor positioning, so the motor is mounted in the middle towards the rear end of the axle, rear axle in front of it, and in a high position. The upper deck is a side-by-side mounting, so there's two decks like this, and the bottom goes like that. So they updated the front knuckle geometry, which seems to be working good on the other car. What's this? Core bearing wheel hub. Yeah, there's bearings in the wheel hubs. I think they mean that it's designed really tightly around the bearing. It's redesigned. It's a little bit, like, if I remember right, I think this knuckle is a little bit smaller than the RR knuckle up. When we do the side to side, we'll know for sure. And you can also change the motor position 5 different ways, it's saying here. This rapid wheel locker business is what is called their version of quick release, but to me it's not quick release because you still have to screw or thread a screw into the quick release versus threading a nut onto an axle, threaded axle. So it's not really quick release, it's a slightly different design. And already, if you don't have the screw or wheel on the nut and the piece, I'm noticing the piece falls out the backside of the hub, the wheel hub, so that's sort of an issue on the front end. But yeah, there's that. They relocated the speed control tray. It says here, yes, that is a rear-mounted ESC tray, so it goes on the back, and they have it's like a two-piece actually, because there's a spot for your speed control and a spot for your receiver, bink bink, and then there's a whole nother tray that is for the gyro that is in front of the motor, which is attached to the double-tiered upper deck. Apologies for my nose if you're hearing me inhale slightly. Yeah, it's acting up today. The temperature's fluctuating too much. Canada. What's this? Rapid thread drive shaft. Oh, that's the same as the rapid wheel locker. Yeah, it's the same idea. The drive shaft, sorry, my brain shut off for a second. The drive shaft is the same style, quick release as the front, so they redesigned the drive shaft at the wheel area, so it's quick release thread by a screw instead of a wheel nut. And you can move the battery position 2 places. So those are the main differences. Yeah, and this is being the all-plastic version. The whole car is plastic with the fiberglass reinforced plastic FRP style chassis plates. Excuse me. The other car I have, has the carbon style chassis plates. So those are the differences mainly between the rear motored car and the mid-motored car, this being the mid car, you still get the glorious 3Racing stealth mounts here, which everybody loves. So yeah, without further ado, let's crack this thing open. Oh, yes. Let's take a look inside. And when we open the box, oh, I hit the camera. That was cool. Yeah. Where were we? Yes, when you open the box, you will notice the words tandem down here. Ooh. And bag number 8, right off the top, where you see the typical 3Racing wheels and drift tires, which are sort of like a hard, feel like a hard compound spec. The 3Racing stealth mounts, which are really, really good. Really good. You'll see my other videos for how good they are of the kits. And yeah, these wheels and tires will like kind of get you going, but they're not really the greatest for most surfaces. And being, I think, only 5mm offset or even lower, whatever offset they are, they don't let the steering go all the way, which is a little annoying. So I've mentioned this a few times. Can we get some higher offset wheels? Like would it kill you guys? I'm glad there's wheels and tires, but like that just ruins the experience. And this happened with the D4 as well. And the D5 rear. And now this. But whatever, at least they include it. Yokomo doesn't include it all. Neither do most other drift kits. Only a couple out-of-box ones do. So, anyways, yeah. It's a good mark that they include it, but bad mark that it affects the performance out-of-box. So I recommend like a top line 7mm minimum. You could probably get away with a Yokomo 6mm Racing Performer style or Yokomo 6mm. Nothing less, honestly. Otherwise your performance will suffer. But my RR out-of-box rental car that I run at the Strictly Sideways track, it's running on 7mm top lines, and it's everybody loves it for the car that it is. So that's bag number 8, and there's body posts and stuff like that, and the plastic pieces for the assembly of the front style and the rear of the body magnets, which are really good, as I said. So there's that. Bag number 6. Yeah, the plastic part here has been pushing against the bag during the shipping. Don't worry about that. That's just part of the plastic molding, I think. Part of that is. Yeah. Anyways, there's springs in here for the shocks. The shocks are here, plastic shocks. And for what they are, the plastic shocks work okay. They're not too bad, but they're still plastic shocks. Upgrading to aluminums would be a good idea. 3Racing makes aluminum set of shocks, and they do work pretty good. Those I have a set actually, and they're going to go on the MRGA, the carbon version I have of this. They're going to go on that soon for testing. The other thing I can tell you, the main difference between the MR kit, both the GA and this all plastic one, is in this one they give you 100 weight shock oil. In the other kit, I actually have this open because I built an RR last night. In the RR, they give you 200. So they lowered the oil for a more softer feel in the MR, which is good because the RR suffers from heavy understeer due to the front end being a little stiff out of box. But you put the stealth mounts up front, and it works pretty good. Excuse me. So yeah, my nose is not cooperating. Anyways, moving on. What's this? Bag 1. Bag 1 is wheel bearing. Oh, this is the diff, right? Bag 1 is the diff. And 5,000 weight oil in the diff, and metal gears, as you can see there, metal gears in the diff. So the difference between a YD2 diff and this diff particularly, they're both filled with oil. The YD2 gives you 10,000 weight oil, has plastic spider gears for the diff. Sakura D5s, same as the RR kit in this MR, 5,000 weight oil, metal spider gears. So the effect, it feels pretty similar, just different oils. Just the different oil, heavier gears, vice versa. So there's that. I'll put that over there. Bag 7 is the battery tray. This is towards the end of the build. This is the battery holding tray piece. Works pretty good. And you can shave off the sides for a bigger battery if you have a slightly longer, shorty style battery. Oh, my nose. Apologies for the nose. Press F to send Kleenex. Anyways, yes, this is the knuckles and rear uprights here. Rear uprights and the knuckles, wheel hubs, and bearings, and the drive shafts are here. If you can kind of see it, where is it? There's the drive shaft. Notice that there's threads inside of that axle, not on the outside. So the screw goes in there, and that's their quick release style. So these drive shafts are kind of like D5-MR specific at this point. because they run the quick release. You could switch this out and put a standard one, no problem, which, depending on how annoying this gets, if it gets that annoying, I might do. We'll see how that goes. Updates to follow. Bag 4, this is the shock towers and servo mounting tray, which this is a separate piece in the MR kit. In the RR, it's it's part of the upper deck, which I'll show you after, quickly. So that is in servo horns. That's bag 5. Bag 3 is quite a large bag. This has the side plates here, the MR plates, which you can see more of in the other videos I made of the GA kit. So that's the upper deck, which is 2 pieces to that. A lot of the front bulkhead and rear transmission assembly. These metal parts here, aluminum parts, that is the motor plate, motor mounting plate, and excuse me, the steering bell crank, the main bell crank piece. That's aluminum, and that's really good that they did that. And they also did this in the RR as well, so I gave them kudos for that. Kudos as well. And so the rest of it, yeah, bulkhead, spur gear, which is a 48 pitch 84 tooth gear, if I remember correctly. Let me just peruse around it. Hold on. 4883, sorry. Get it on the camera here. I had to find it first. There it is. See it? 48 pitch, 83 tooth. Bravo. Okay. So that's bag 3. So you get a lot of parts in bag 3. It's kind of a heavy step bag 3. It's a couple pages. So that's that. And bag 2 being the last bag. There's only really like 7 or 8 bags. You do quite a lot between the bags. It's the main chassis plate, which when I do the comparison between the RR and the GA, we'll notice several differences. The GA plate, they call it a flexi plate because they cut out more pieces than the standard standard MR all plastic version, which is this one. And I can see it, so we'll do some more videos later, maybe at the track or something, with comparison side by sides and all that. Bag 2 though, you get that chassis plate and you get the upper arms, lower arms, and the assembly to do the rear lower arms. Sorry, I bumped the camera again. And yes, the screws and pins. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice presentation actually. 3Racing's always done pretty good that way. So that's all that cool stuff. And now, oh yes, look where, glorious sticker sheet, glorious. Now, this sticker sheet I remember I also got in the MR kit, but the MR kit one I think had a few extra pieces. Not so much like extra fancy. There was just a few extra pieces. There's a couple stickers here that are white. You can see them there as I roll the sheet around. They kind of show up when I roll the light around. There we go. That's sweet though. This is pretty much I think the same sticker kit or sticker sheet that came in the GA kit, the one with the carbon plates. And yeah, that's awesome. I love this. This is great. It shows that they're willing to produce something new when they do a new version of a kit. Unlike Yokomo, sometimes they don't give you a sticker sheet whatsoever in the really expensive kits, which is kind of pooey. Or like the new version YD2Z kit, as I briefly mentioned it here, they threw a sticker sheet in that I think still said YD2E on it, and I was like, come on, can you make something work? So yes, bravo, that's really nice. I'll always big up sticker sheets because that's really cool. And of course the instruction manual, which you can also go to any one of these QR codes and download the manual. I actually went and downloaded a bunch of 3Racing manuals from their new shop website, and one of the manuals, I was wondering why it was kind of a big download for a PDF, but it was actually in color. It had half of the stuff all in color. But the instructions are pretty well laid out, but I will notice even here, see this? It's a little, hold on, there, see, you can see stuff, but it's a little dark. It's a little on the dark side, depending how much light you have. I'm sort of flashing light over top of it, so you can see stuff, but like you're gonna have to use some good light and or pay attention, because this, compared to the RR I built, or the PDF even, this looks a little darker. Like it's just shaded a little darker. And it should be a little bit more lighter. Like it should be like this, to be honest. It should be like that shade versus some of the darkness. So even though this is like nice and big and everything and like well laid out, it's just this shading, I guess, or how it printed it, it's a little dark. So like, you know, I would not mark them down for this. You know, this is just one of those, it probably printed like this, because a lot of their other instructions, yeah, see, look, it should look more like this. I think it's just how it printed, so I will not mark them down for that. But yeah, the instructions are good, looks good. I guess this car is going to get built pretty quickly after this video is being uploaded and sent. Now, briefly, I will bring in the D5-RR I finished building last night. And as you can see, so here's the differences. So the bottom deck, as we see, there's way more cut out on this chassis versus this one. Let me just grab it really fast. Look, see? Look at the differences. There's the RR down here. Here's the MR. You can see the amount of cutaways and stuff already, the extra cutaways. So things like that. The other main thing, motor not in the rear. Motor is up here and in the high position, so up here. This solid one, oh, I hit the camera, sorry. This solid one-piece deck, see there's the servo. Servo is part of, the servo mounting is part of the upper deck, all one piece. In the MR, this is separate to the double tiered upper deck. So there's essentially two upper decks, which also model several other cars that have also been on the market, but you know, it's got cool cutaways and stuff, the MR. And the other major difference, which I forgot to mention if I did or not on the bottom of the box, the RR has IFS style suspension, inboard front suspension. The MR, the mid-motored car, this guy down here, this guy has a shock tower. See that shock tower? Beautiful, working, amazing, strong stealth mounts. These are really good. These are worth their money. Even if you could get them separate, which I think you can now, these are great. Love them. We'll always big up them. And yeah, the geometry is different on the knuckle. They made the knuckle, I think, slightly redesigned, I think, or the geometry anyway, something like that, if I remember right. And the I think the rear shock tower got slightly updated as well. The motor position, you can change a couple positions as well. And what was the other main difference? Oh, the rear, because the motor is no longer back here, they did the rear ESC rear ESC slash receiver mounting, that's it. And the gyro sits, the motor sits here, and then the gyro sits about here on an angle on the upper deck, but you can put it anywhere else. They just made a dedicated tray to it. The steering belt crank and stuff is all the same, that's all fine. And yeah, those are the main differences. There's the 3Racing wheels, and here you can sort of see what I'm saying. If you look under there, see that stopper? It's not anywhere near the arm yet. It's not even hitting the arm. And the wheel is already hitting on the turnbuckle. So, where is it? To get a better idea. See, there, right there, see? Hitting right there at the knuckle, and it's not even near that stopper is not near the arm. There it is. Peekaboo! Focus, focus, aiming, and there we go, see? You can see it. Not near it, but that's hitting the arm down there. So, that will be a problem on this, but as soon as you change the wheels, you get the full lock, and the out-of-box geometry does work pretty good, as you'll see in the other videos that are already posted on my channel. And yeah, with that, that's about it visually and the visual differences. And yeah, so I'll put this over here. I'm gonna start building this MR, and then once I build the MR, I can do literal side-by-side comparisons. And yeah, it'll be great. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think. If you already got one of these, if you've done some setup, if you've changed to aluminum shocks, what you think, what electronics you ran in it. And I'm getting updates from my roommate of what time it is. And it is 9:08 p.m. I think his clock is broken. But yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and we'll go from there, and stay tuned for more comparison and update videos. Thank you, and check you later. Peace!